Sarah Platt may be locked inside a prison cell, but the most terrifying part of her situation is that someone on the inside seems to know exactly what is happening to her son on the outside. Sarah is currently behind bars after being arrested for the murder of Theo Silverton, but right now, the murder case is almost secondary to her biggest fear: keeping Harry safe. That fear becomes much more real when Bethany speaks to Sarah on the phone and reassures her that Harry is doing well. For a brief moment, Sarah finally has something to hold on to, but that feeling disappears almost immediately. Kacey enters Sarah's cell and notices that she has been crying. Then she casually asks whether Sarah is upset about Harry. That one question changes everything, because Sarah has never told Kacey her son's name. Suddenly, this no longer feels like simple intimidation inside the prison. It suggests that Kacey may know far more about Sarah's family than she should. At the same time, Bethany makes another worrying discovery at home. While dealing with the washing, she finds blood on one of Kit Green's t-shirts. She has no idea exactly what Kit has been doing, but it is already clear that he is becoming deeply involved in Sarah's situation. Things get even more disturbing when Sarah looks at a photograph of Harry and discovers that his face has been scratched out. Kacey then appears and mentions missing pool balls from the prison recreation room. Sarah begins to realize that she may have to protect herself, while also finding some way to stop Kacey from reaching her family. Then the threat becomes impossible to ignore. Bethany learns from Alia that Adam has taken Harry to the home of a new friend he met through the holiday club. Later, Kacey shows Sarah photographs of Harry at that exact house. For Sarah, this is proof that someone connected to Kacey can apparently track Harry's movements outside the prison. Sarah immediately calls Adam and tells him to collect Harry and keep him close. Adam is alarmed and confronts Lottie, the mother of Harry's new friend, about the photographs. But there is still no confirmation that Lottie is actually working with Kacey. She is simply someone Adam now has reason to question because of what has happened. Inside the prison, Sarah reaches her breaking point. She puts stolen pool balls into a sock, creating a makeshift weapon. When she hears voices outside her cell, she grips it tightly. Sarah is clearly frightened, but what makes this moment important is that fear is starting to turn into action. Kit is going through a similar transformation on the outside. He tells Bethany that he wants to threaten Kacey's son, believing that targeting someone Kacey cares about may force her to leave Sarah's family alone. When Kit later sees Brandon in the precinct, he immediately chases him, only for Bernie to intervene. Bernie warns Kit that he needs to start protecting himself instead of allowing Sarah's crisis to consume him. But Kit does not seem ready to stop. And neither does Sarah. She eventually heads toward Kacey's cell while carrying the weapon. The article does not confirm exactly what Sarah plans to do. She could be preparing to threaten Kacey, confront her directly, or force her to explain how she knows so much about Harry. What is clear is that Sarah no longer believes staying passive will protect her son. That creates one of the most interesting parallels in this storyline. Sarah and Kit are both trying to protect the same family, but they are also becoming increasingly willing to cross dangerous lines. Their intentions may come from loyalty and fear, yet their actions could easily make the situation worse. As for what happens next, these are only predictions based on the information we have. First, Sarah will likely confront Kacey directly, although whether the situation becomes physical is still unknown. Second, Adam may continue investigating how Kacey obtained those photographs, with Lottie likely remaining under suspicion unless another explanation emerges. Third, Kit could ignore Bernie's warning and continue pursuing Brandon or threatening Kacey's family, which may create even more trouble outside the prison. And finally, Sarah's makeshift weapon could become a major problem for her, even if she never actually uses it, because simply carrying it shows how desperate the situation has become. None of those outcomes have been confirmed yet. But one thing is certain. Kacey has managed to make Sarah feel that prison walls are no protection for Harry, and that fear is pushing both Sarah and Kit toward decisions they may not be able to take back. The real question now is whether Sarah can protect Harry without walking straight into Kacey's trap.